wheeling. It's all about mastering the elements. So what's a little rain when you come to a jamboree? Bring on the weather is their attitude. Because rain means more mud. And this crowd gives a whole new meaning to the term grunge. In this sanitized world, good old mud race is one place you can turn to that gets really down and dirty. Look at that fun. These race fans don't do rain hits. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the best in NMRO mud racing. After a morning of heavy rain, the weather has cleared. Darn it, we're ready to go mud racing at the Summer Four-Wheel Jamboree Nationals here in beautiful Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. If you missed last year's Class 5 competition from Bloomsburg here on Trucks and Tractor Power, you missed one of the wildest afternoons we've ever seen. First, there was Peter Gales in a stock-appearing full-size truck called Thunderbolt. Watch what happens here. Then, also in the far lane, Dan Brown in the BDS Mind Games climbs the berm and ends up all the way over on the crushed cars of the monster truck track. It looks like he totally demolished the car, but amazingly, he had it race-ready the next day. Same lane, a few passes later, Robert Heisner in Hot Tuna comes screaming out of the pit, actually tags the crushed cars on the monster course, and shears off the left side rubber. And if that wasn't enough to make it look like a shake, battle, and roll tape, Brian Bulanda in the near lane sends it head-on into the hydro barriers protecting the Bloomsburg stage. Now, they've reconfigured Bloomsburg to make sure that the mud pits angle away from the stage, and that hopefully will make it a safer racing facility for everyone here today. Army?
Tom, the optimal word here is hopefully. We've already run Class 4 competition today. Watch the wild ride that Neil Shoemaker took. What they do, they actually come in and dig the track up. Well, when they dig the track up, they actually have to create a berm or a side to the track. Whatever they dig up, they have to put somewhere. The berm turns into a wall, and the wall will not give. This was an awesome run. The driver walked away. The safety equipment worked. All the safety features worked, but believe me, the Bloomsburg mug will still bite you in a heartbeat.
It's our first pair. It's Brian Harold, a local guy with a new paint scheme. Still, though, the familiar 23 Ultra T body style, as you'll notice.
Yeah, but he relies on the supercharged Chevrolet engine for the horsepower. He and his dad, who serves as the crew chief out of Saxonburg, Pennsylvania. This is a young up-and-comer in sport. He's a good kid, good racer. Meanwhile, on the other lane, who we're going to have, Tom?
Well, somebody else, Army, who's no stranger to Bloomsburg. In fact, not even a stranger about crashing into that Bloomsburg stage. Brian Maeda is going to be driving Foolish Pleasure down from Danbury, Connecticut.
Yeah, he's hoping the hair of the dog that bit him won't come back after him again this year. The kid in the far lane, like I say, he and his dad out of Pennsylvania follow the circuit. A very well-mannered kid, represents himself awfully well, looking for his first national sponsor, looking for the first national win. Matt in the near lane, he is in the stage side lane. Remember, the track is angled about 10 degrees away from the stage. Whoa! We made it to the first round. This place scares me, Tom Rivers. I'm telling you.
That lane looks like it's going to be a troublesome thing all day long. Take a look at Brian Harold's time there.
Yeah, watch him when he launches. Now, he'll get near the end and he'll get hooked on the berm. He's in the middle now. The wheels are spinning about 160 mile an hour, drifts right. That's the berm. See the right front tire hit it. Now the right rear's into it. He is along for the ride. He's already kicked his visor up. Now he pulls it back down.
Let's see if we can have Army catch up with Brian Harold in the pits to talk about that run.
Made a good move on you, but it looked like it hooked, it hooked a rut and hit the wall. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's pretty slimy stuff out there in Bloomsburg. Last week, or a couple weeks ago, we raced in sand. Guys tried to make some changes, and now we're back to mud, and it's a whole new ball game, but same old mud.
Same old mud he's wearing on his face there. Take a look at Weld Racing wheels there, right?
One of the manufacturers out of Kansas City have a full line of all types of performance wheels on display. Plus, they got the t-shirts, Tom.
We're back with more Trucks and Tractor Power in a moment.
Welcome back to Bloomsburg, where Ford Trucks presents the Summer Four-Wheel Jamboree Nationals. You know, lots of nice Ford trucks on the Midway today. Tom's caught up with one of the best looking ones we found.
The Shark is the creation and pride and joy of Mark Morowick. Mark was the original owner of this 1978 3/4-ton F-250 pickup truck. Now, Bob Glidden, the NHRA legend, built the long blocks, but look at this engine. It also has a 671 supercharger, double Hollies, an NOS system, and look at the air scoop. It's engraved with the images of sharks. Mark's from the village of Lewiston, New York, near Niagara Falls, and uses the truck to increase the awareness of the DARE program, the Drug Awareness Resistance Education Program in his area. The interior was recently redone by Auto FX of North Tonawanda, New York. In the interior, the doors, the headliner, the seats are all color coordinated. You'll see the blue and purple scheme throughout the truck, though. Look at the color coordination right down to each leaf of the springs. And the Shark's going to swim back to New York with tons of hardware. Take a look at what he won. Grand Champion, Best Ford, Best Full-Size, and Best Truck Bed. He has his bed dance to the Joe Diffie song called Pickup Man.
Yeah, well, you know, everyone that loves a pickup truck, what I always heard.
Rolling up to the line now, Roger Sherwood is stressed out, and Mike Camella in bunkers.
These two guys are due, believe me. Strong, hard runners. 23-4. Roger Sherwood you're looking at. Took a real hard hit about a week ago and hurt his elbow. He gets tossed around the vehicle so much. Mike Camilla in the other lane runs a 32 Ford Vicky body. His crew member goes over to wish him good luck. Alcohol burning vehicles. He's generating around 3,000 horsepower. This is just going to be a good race. These guys are just good racers. They're going to tell us something about the track. Let's just watch them. Track is fast. That's what they're going to tell us. Real fast. 310 for Sherwood. Looked like Camilla went a 296. Now it looked to me like Camilla was backpedaling. But Sherwood with a 310, Camilla with a 296. The numbers are on the wall.
Yes, they are, Mr. Armstrong. And up to the line, Tom Martin in the Quaker State Slick 50 Super Trooper. You'll see his lights aren't on yet. His lights don't come on until he is ready to race. And in the other lane, BDS Mind Games with Dan Brown behind the wheel. While they line up, Mike Camello's with Army.
Mike at 296, but it sounded like you actually backpedaled at half track.
Yeah, I backpedaled. I started going a little bit to the right, and I think I hit the wall. I'm not sure. I backpedaled, just keep it in bounds. You know, that's all we could do, Army.
Well, staying in bounds is definitely part of it. As they line up, Martin and Dan Brown, the lights are now on. That means that Tom Martin is ready to race.
And race he will. Keep an eye on the tires of these vehicles. Look how clunky they look right now, how full of mud they are.
I'll tell you one thing, Army. Dan Brown's got to be happier with that pass than he was with last year's.
Yeah, 288, Martin a 306, but, you know, we're going to, yeah, he's going to be a lot happier. This time last year, the EMTs were talking to him. Watch the tires sling the mud off. See, they're just as clean as can be right now. So this, believe it or not, is ideal racing conditions for him. Plus, he landed on all four wheels.
Let's see how he feels about it. Dan Brown is with Army right now.
Dan, a 288 on a good side-by-side race with you and Martin.
Army, there ain't no line out there at the beginning. It spun off the line real hard. It was about third track for the BDS car just took off and finally come out the end pretty fast then.
Okay, now real quick, BDS car took off. A different turn this year than this time last year.
Yeah, this time last year we was kind of upside down out there trying to figure out what we had left and what we didn't have left. But a lot more of a more successful pass today than last year, and that's what you call racing.
Well, you can call it racing, you can call it airplanes. They say it the same way. Anyone you can walk away from is a good one, Army.
Exactly. Speaking of a good one, never satisfied coming out. This guy's one of the strongest supercharged Ford runners in the country. Jimmy Carr, he's out of Trenton, New Jersey. He can play hardball with you in a heartbeat. He'll be going up against the touch of madness, Tom. That'll be Gary Reddick. I believe, yeah, Reddick's out of Pennsylvania, so you know he'd like to put down a good shot here for his home state people. Carr on the left. Reddick waits Carr through, and now is going after him.
Tried to play some catch-up ball there. Jimmy Carr, though, pulls it in at 2.9.
Yeah, Carr rolls a good number. Reddick is still waving. A 320, maybe he's just having fun. Just out riding around.
Plenty of mud on the track. They're trying to wipe the mud off the show and shine trucks. We'll be back with more action in a moment. Welcome back to the four-wheel Jamboree Nationals here at the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds.
Grooming the starting line. Yeah, something that's done in this form of motorsport. I don't know any other motorsport that does it. Every 5 races, they'll go back and put a new starting line down for the guys. Why do they do it? It's real simple. With the amount of horsepower these fellas are making, as soon as they leave the starting line, they literally blow the tires off. And when they do that, they blow all the mud that was on the starting line out. So the guys behind them don't have as good a track to run on. By grooming the track on every 5th run, that assures everybody basically a level playing field, or a muddy playing field, if you will.
Well, he's an equal amount of mud, Army. Mike Behrman in chemical reaction pulling up to the line. And he's going to face another tough competitor, right, Army?
Yeah, Behrman will be lining up against David Verbovnik. Behrman in a 27 Ford Roadster. He drives one class, his brother drives another class. Verbovnik in a far lane out of Pennsylvania. 2 good young drivers coming up here. David here you see on the screen out of Meadsville, Pennsylvania, I'm sure would love to do good up here. He runs good on the national circuit, runs a small block Chevrolet for engine. Meanwhile, Mike Behrman runs a big old block Chevrolet engine. When I mean big block, you're talking about a 500 plus cubic inch engine in the blue car and 400 cubic inches in the car in the far lane. Behrman makes a move. Verbovnik comes on him on the other end. Neither driver, I believe, is going to be satisfied with their time. 3:37 is the word I get on the far lane, Tom.
And Mike Behrman turning in a 3.722, so neither driver's got to be happy about those runs.
I tell you what we're going to do is let's go back and check the starting line out. Notice how much gump is on the tires right now. Now, they sling that off, so really that's not a factor. But he never has control of the car. He's playing defense the whole way through. Pit's only 180 feet long, but he didn't have a bit of control over that car. As soon as he hit the throttle, it had a mind all its own.
It looks like the first third of that track is just really out of control.
Yeah, they can't stick the horsepower to anything. Now, we've got a big Chrysler Hemi coming out of here now.
This is the Mud Rat, Rodney Covington driving the Mud Rat.
Sponsored by the local Texaco dealer, Sykesville, Texaco. Get him a sponsor mentioned in there.
Good to see that. He's going to be lining up against Steve Salvador, who is in Quicksand.
Not that familiar with Steve. We've seen Rodney around before. Rodney's a rock and roller, buddy. When that light goes green, I guarantee he's going to thump something. Quicksand, a beautiful car in the far lane. Whoa, another rough ride out of that right lane, Tom.
Well, he posts a good time. The Mud Rat clocks in at a 2.9, so Rodney's happy about that. Not sure what happened to Steve.
I don't believe Steve is either. It's, I guess he got stuck in the quicksand.
Let's take a look at it again. Rodney Covington and the Mud Rat running here.
See, what's happening? You're not getting straight runs from anybody. He left the line. As soon as he drilled the throttle, the vehicle picked itself up and launched, but it came down and didn't really go that straight.
Army's with Rodney.
Rodney, that big old Chrysler Ranger was making some growling horsepower for you, but it looked to me like you tanked the wall out there, did you?
Yeah, I got up on the bank a little bit, Army. It got crooked there from the starting line, and once it got hooked up, I tried to get it straight down the track and let her have it.
Well, he's not the only driver, Army, that's happened to today at Bloomsburg.
I'll tell you what, he was getting rattled around inside that car, too. He was a little bit goofy there when I was talking to him, not saying it in a negative form. And Mike Lane's going to be coming out now. What happens, these guys get jerked around so much in the vehicles and they actually hit the roll bar and they're not aware of it. The Gamber, the X1R Gamber comes out of Florida. That'll be Garland Walls out of Port Orange, Florida, in a beautiful little 32 Ford chop-top Little Deuce Coupe, if you will. The Beach Boys sung about it, and he likes to drive one. Sponsored by the X1R people out of the state of Florida. He'll be going up in the other lane against an open car. Today, the open car seems to be the better of the two because you can just see better.
I mean, it looks like the track's a little less sloppy there. It didn't look like visibility was a factor for either car. Good clean run, but Michael Lane comes in at a 2.997 and Garland Walls at a 3.089.
Well, I'll tell you what, most drivers know they can go quicker than that.
Let's take a look at Garland's run here.
He's sitting right in the middle of the vehicle. He goes straight compared to everybody else we've seen so far today. A real straight run, moves around on him a little bit, about 150-foot mark, but not good enough.
Let's see how he feels about it. Army checks in with Garland Walls.
Garland, you brought the X1R Little Deuce Coupe all the way up from Florida, and not the run you were looking for by any means.
Nah, it sure wasn't. It's kind of juicy on the start line. Not much you can get a hold of. I give her all she got.
Well, that starting line causing for a not too quick day. 2.8s, high 2s here on your times. Dan Brown at a 2.88. Jimmy Carr at a 2.92, followed by Covington, Camella, and Michael Lane. We're looking at the Midway here at the Bloomsburg Fairground. While they do some track grooming, let's duck in on some of the activity of the Midway. There's a couple guys who made the trip to the Jamboree here from, license plate says, New York. The four-wheel Jamborees are part of the Special Events Performance Series, featuring a weekend of four-wheel fun. Check out the manufacturer's Midway. There's also several categories of show and shine competitions. Contact the Special Events Promotion Company to find out when a Jamboree will be near your area. Here's a couple of guys trying to take some of the Jamboree home with them. Coming up, we'll see who takes a win in the Class 5 mud racing. Stay tuned. Trucks and Tractor Power continues in a moment. Welcome back to Bloomsburg, the site of the Summer Four-Wheel Jamboree Nationals.
You know, all day long we've been talking about how good the horsepower was, how the track is what this and what that and everything. But what it really comes down to is who's going to go through this thing the quickest. And two of the baddest guys in the sport draw each other in this round. Fred Wilhite, the money pit out of Decatur, Illinois. It's a 48 Fiat. He's got a little dingleberry hat. If you look underneath his chin, he's got a baby pacifier hanging there. So that's for the cry babies. If they don't like to race like I do, I'll give them a pacifier. Jeremy Finley, S-kicker, out of Bluefield, West Virginia. He's another one of these guys that likes to get in slapping contests.
Well, these are definitely two of the biggest names. Let's see how they run.
Hey, we got a fire over here on Wilhite. You notice that Tom Wilhite had a little bit of a fire coming out of the right side of the engine. A new leader, the word we're getting, the scoreboard comes up a 281. The S-kicker, 281.
Let's see if we can look at Fred Wilhite's car again. You see the flames there on the left-hand side, Army.
Yeah, they're running alcohol for fuel, so what happened is the paint on the body actually had to be what was burning. The alcohol you would not be able to see.
Let's see if Army can catch up with Fred and see what happened there.
Okay, Mike, your phone's ringing.
What do you say? If you can't win, be spectacular. What's the deal on the fire we were seeing?
I don't know. I wished I knew. It's kind of melting my body down. It got smoky in there right before I took off.
Wow. Here's one more look at that start. The engine is burning real fat on the right side. You know, this also offers you a look at why the handheld starting line camera at a mud race is one of the toughest in motorsports. And all of our hats are off to Brian Hunter, who's manning it for us today. Right now, Army is with our leader, Jeremy Finley.
Jeremy at 281, quick time of the day, drawing late in the field, running Wilhite, but the car still didn't really look like it was going that fast.
Yeah, it burned out off the line pretty bad, but we lined up out of the ruts. It caught a little mud about half track and took off.
Well, Jeremy Finley with the best time. We'll see if he can hold on to that position. He's got a couple people who'd like to change that.
He only has to dodge 2 bullets. One of them vehicle goes by the name of Can't Touch This. It's an naturally aspirated vehicle, meaning it's not supercharged. And a lot of people feel that the supercharged and non-supercharged vehicle are not competitive with each other. The non-supercharged vehicle is very competitive and runs the nitrous oxide system. Meanwhile, Joey Quick in the other lane runs the supercharged engine, and you should be able to see the difference in these vehicles as they leave the starting line. One much quicker reaction than the other. You can tell which is which.
Once in trouble there, Joey Villarreal got in trouble real quick.
That makes instant horsepower. Can't Touch This was 352, not a bad time, and not the big horsepower time he was looking for. Meanwhile, Joey lined up on the high side. Now watch him. He'll make a move and then drop down in a rut. Once he does that, the car takes on the character right there. See, he dropped down. Once he did, hook in a rut.
Boy, Joey Villarreal really gets bounced around inside that car there. Let's find out how he feels about that run. I know you're not supposed to be on that side of the orange cones, and you're not supposed to hit him. Let's see if Army can talk to him.
Well, it looks like the walls at Bloomsburg caught another good racer. Once you get on that wall, you're in trouble. They almost just suck you into it, don't they?
Oh, yeah, it sucks you right in. I didn't want to get out of it, but I started going to the other lane, so I decided to get out and make it safe for the other guy.
Joey Villarreal DQing and therefore not being able to knock off Jeremy Finley, who's still atop our leaderboard with a 2.81. Our winner today, Jeremy Finley, and Army Armstrong alongside him.
Jeremy, Bloomsburg, big win. You know, any win's a good win, but the win here, you can brag about it all year long.
Yeah, it's a good race here. You know, the track is a little sloppy, but we got it hooked up and made it through there with a good pass.
Okay, now what about the track? The starting line looked like it wasn't there for you, but the mid-track looked like you were making just tons of horsepower.
Yeah, we lined up out of the ruts trying to get something, but they wasn't much air. And then about half track, catch a little bite, take off.
Well, congratulations to you. You're the Bloomsburg winner this year. You can talk about it all year long.
I appreciate it.
Jeremy Finley wasn't the only winner here in Bloomsburg this weekend. It's all about folks hanging out, having racing action, and on the main stage, the Miss Summer 4-Wheel Jamboree contest.
That competition is headed up by none other than Phoenix, Arizona's own Johnny Moto. He's got a better announcing job than you and I do, Tom.
Great job. Part of the fun of these jamborees is events like this where folks get to get out and have a little bit of good American summertime fun. And Amy Simpson from Matamora, Pennsylvania. Congratulations to Amy. She was the winner of the contest. She and her husband Brian had their 1995 GMC entered in the show and shine competition. And as Amy does the trophy walk, that'll wrap it up for Trucks and Tractor Power. For Army Armstrong, I'm Tom Rivers. So long, everybody, from Bloomsburg.